Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Monday, December 12th. I'm back after a couple of weeks in the South Pacific. I confess I gave some thought to not returning as I read the news headlines from home. Brooke did a great job filling in. I noticed over the weekend a headline that Asa Hutchinson, the governor of Arkansas, said that Donald Trump has been disciplined and cautious in his approach to rising to the presidency of the United States. Well, angering China didn't seem very disciplined or cautious by siding with Taiwan in that long-running dispute. China responded by calling him childish and sending a nuclear-equipped bomber over the South China Sea today. These sorts of things do bring his caution to mind, along with some of his appointments, a friend of Russia and Exxon chief as Secretary of State, some securities people who've made some pretty unhinged remarks on social media and elsewhere, those sorts of things. But a lot more to come on that story as we move along. I do think the biggest story of the weekend was the report that there's a convinced opinion in the intelligence community that Russia did meddle in the U.S. elections this year. Many think to help Donald Trump. Really, my point is it doesn't matter who they were working for, that they were meddling in our election, whether it was Russia or Iceland. It should be important to American voters. Donald Trump says this is an effort to delegitimize his victory, but there are a number of Republican senators, very important ones, including Marco Rubio and even Mitch McConnell, who think that, yes, we should look into whether the Republicans did mess in our elections. And of course, any good American should feel that way. Donald Trump, not so much. Interesting article over the weekend in the Houston Chronicle about the differences in Arkansas and Texas health care coverage thanks to our adoption of the Obamacare Medicaid expansion. We're a lot better off and we're getting better medical treatment as a result. Texas declined to take the program. The question is whether our program will survive. A lot of Republicans in the Arkansas legislature don't want to continue it. They want to add some features to it that might discourage people from taking that insurance and reducing some of those health benefits. That's going to be a big fight in the 2017 legislature. The Trump appointment of Betsy DeVos as education secretary has local implications as well. There's a great article in the Detroit Free Press, which you can find on the Arkansas blog, about the damage that's been done to public schools in Michigan by DeVos and her strong and successful effort to move to charter schools, vouchers, and anything but public schools in Michigan. The test results don't show that it's helped students very much, so it's helped private operators of charter schools. There's going to be a big voucher school bill in Arkansas this session. There's a lot of support for it among a lot of people in the Republican power circle, but not all of them. This isn't necessarily strictly a partisan issue, so that's another debate to look forward to. Good news on the Republican legislative front in Arkansas includes introduction of a bill by Blake Johnson, a Republican senator from Northeast Arkansas, to end Arkansas's criminal eviction statute. We're the only state in the country that makes a criminal out of somebody for failing to pay rent. It would become a civil eviction procedure as in other states. There isn't anything in this bill to improve our landlord-tenant bill as it pertains to a minimum level of habitability for rental units. The real estate lobby hates that, so I don't expect to see that happen. We've also got an introduction of a bill by Republican legislators to require mandatory vaccinations of school children. Our exemption has become too broad for far too many reasons, simple philosophical reasons. Parents can reject vaccinations. This presents really hazardous health conditions for other children in school when that becomes too widely used. Also news of the legislature over the weekend was Joe Jett's defection from the Democratic to the Republican Party. He'd been a very successful and leading member of the Democratic delegation, long professed as a hardcore Democrat, but he made a switch. I'm led to understand over the weekend that some of this grew from a dispute with Michael John Gray, the House Minority Leader, and they had some disagreements over strategy that ultimately led to Jett's departure. I'm hopeful that Jett will continue to be something of a moderate force. The Republican Party could use one or two. We could have a true debate on a lot of issues if they didn't all vote in lockstep on everything. I don't think Joe Jett will do that. More bad news, though, in the legislature comes from a Republican legislator from Perryville, Mary Bentley, who wants to prevent people to receive food stamps. And remember, they're not all free. They're sold on a sliding scale. Some people pay some money for their food stamps to prevent them from using those things for unnutritious food, for sugary drinks and cookies, I guess, and that sort of thing. She thinks this will fight obesity. Of course, only poor people aren't the only fat people in Arkansas, and the government provides a lot of subsidies to all taxpayers that some of whom are indeed overweight, sorry to say. I get a tax reduction. I'm not charged for my health insurance premiums as part of my taxable income, for example. Perhaps I should be required to only buy healthy food by the government. Maybe that would help. We do seem to want to punish the poor, at least certain certain elements of the legislature do. There's a new bill by a Republican representative from Jonesboro to stop the use of Sharia law in Arkansas. It's not being used, but he wants to make sure it never is. It could drive you to drink, but you're not going to be able to do it in Cave City because voters up there said that they're going to make Cave City dry come January the 1st. So stock up on your beer now. A little hard spirits are what you need to battle these sometimes dispiriting times. Still glad to be back home in Arkansas. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.